Here we are at the GC in the Yoon lab, and I'm going to do a little bit of a maintenance and getting some new gas tanks on here. You can see here we've got red lights. That means there's an error, and we've got this error here, air leaks, which means that the air tank and possibly some of the other tanks are low. Now when I come over here, I see that the hydrogen is in good shape. We're at pretty good pressure here, so hydrogen does not need to be replaced. But over here, the air is all the way down at 0, and so this is empty, and this is going to have to be replaced. And the helium was also empty, but I already unhooked that tank. And we've got a replacement here as well as replacement air tank. So let's go about replacing these. Okay, that's ready, and I'm gonna leave this one here for the minute and get this helium tank on here first. That way we can open up a free cart space. Move these out of the way. There we go. So this is just a routine replacement. You have to do this about once every 2 weeks or so. Sometimes you can get away with 3. Really depends on how much the GC is getting used. Yeah, some weeks you go through the gas really fast, and you know, again, it's just because you know, maybe on that week you're using the GC a lot, but then maybe some other week you're not, and so you basically don't use the gases. So it really just depends. And the hydrogen always lasts way longer than the air and the helium, which is another thing to keep in mind. Grab our little tool here. And you never get this quite right. It's always pointing the wrong way, so you can just rotate it in place, not too hard. Here is our helium regulator. You can tell here it says HE. It also works for argon and nitrogen. And we're just gonna finger tighten this, and then we'll tighten it here. All right, let's fire up. Great. So I don't hear any hissing, and pressure seems to be holding. Now we can get this air tank out of here. Now you always want to be careful of this copper wiring, especially as it gets older, because it can bend and snap. That actually happened during the shutdown, unfortunately. Right. Alright, sounds good. Okay, so this is open. It's open. Open. Everything is open. Oh, and by the way, whenever you replace these tanks, I really recommend wearing gloves. I don't know if you can see, but these tanks always have tons of rust on them, and the paint is always coming off, especially on these air tanks with the yellow paint. That rust actually really gets on your skin, and it can be really hard to wash off. It can kind of stay on there for a couple of days, and you never know what the heck is in this paint, so go for the gloves. Now, before we fire up the GC here, I do want to do a little bit of maintenance on it while everything is cool. So we're going to do that, but first I'm going to get a new pair of gloves. So I will be right back.